Welcome to the Free Kick Podcast. My name is Todd. Well, happy opening day week for all you baseball fans out there. Welcome to the last game of the quarterfinals for what's going to be a crazy game because these two guys joining us were in the final last year, and it's been a crazy quarterfinals. I will say that I was totally shocked by Luke upsetting Corey. Ricky and Scott, they kept that game close last episode, and Ricky prevailed, and now he gets another chance to redeem himself and maybe get to the final. We know we had Mike Thomas advantage over Pat, so who is going to be joining them in the round of 4 out of Mr. Michael Van Sant and Rich Laurie? Like I said, both of these guys were in the final, so welcome, guys, and sorry that you guys have to face each other in the quarterfinals.
Well, that's all right. I mean, if I got to lose, I like to lose early. It's a little better for scheduling.
Yeah, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and Rich is definitely up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of these guys were like, oh, yeah, I'm prepared to lose. But, at first when they were saying this, I was like, yeah, maybe they're serious. But I think every time they say this, I think there's just a mind game to get into the other contestants' mind. So
no, not at all.
They're both saying no.
No, Todd, the thing is, Todd, I'm so impressed by the competition that I know how I have a tendency of having these brain farts, so I just assume I'm going to lose. I feel like I got lucky last year, and Mike, Ricky, Mike Thomas, Corey, he was doing great.
He was.
The Doopy brothers. I mean, this is a murder's row here. I just feel it's amazing to even compete with these guys.
Yeah, and then some of the questions they're getting and the scores they're putting up are crazy.
Yeah, the scores are definitely crazy.
I'm totally stumped.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, just looking at Corey's first game, 25 points. Like, I can't believe he went 25 for 30. Like, that is insane. Like, he almost swept the board, which is never happened in this game show, which I'm not sure ever will happen. But I don't know. Maybe you guys will do it tonight. But when you guys last played each other, you put up a good fight against each other. So we'll see what happens tonight.
It was a good match. Hey, Todd, let me interrupt you real quick. A friend of mine named Joe brought up a very good point to me. He said he'd been listening to your podcast, and he said, make sure I mention that you're really missing a golden opportunity to call your show the Toddcast.
Your friend is not the first person to say that. I don't know. Maybe I should go ahead and get somebody to rebrand the logo and everything, rebrand the show, and go with the Toddcast. So, I mean, I don't know. That is not the first person that has said that, and probably won't be the last. So, I don't know. Maybe you guys are onto something. I mean, Rich, you are the person. Clever. Yeah, absolutely. You are the person, Rich, that said, yeah, when you do the game show next year, for the 5th clue, don't give 3 points because everybody can just wait for that. Go to 1 point. That's been a great addition, I think. It really puts the pressure on the people. So I'm always open to suggestions. And I don't know, Toddcast, maybe not. We will see. I do like that. It is an intriguing name.
I can see the T-shirt already.
T-shirt. Let's go. Let's get some more merchandise out there. We do have stickers, which I was planning on giving them out last year, but COVID and everything. Maybe this year at games, people can get some stickers, free kick stickers. But I don't know. They might be rare if we switch over to the Toddcast. So thank you, Joe, for that suggestion, and thank you, Rich, for bringing that up. But let's go ahead before we get into 5 and 25. Let's talk about the Union's last preseason game, which was against DC United. Now, did not see this game because, I think I complained about this a couple weeks ago on Twitter where, MLS comes out with this rule. You have to be 75 miles within the stadium, 66 miles exactly. Apparently, I don't qualify for that according to MLS, so have not been able to watch any preseason. People have given suggestions for location guards, VPNs. None of that stuff has worked, so I've not watched anything for the preseason. But did either one of you guys watch that game, a little bit of the game against DC United?
I caught some of the highlights, but not too much on that. I was just glad to not see another injury report.
Yeah, for sure. I was having some technical issues too, but I did watch quite a bit of it. And, my takeaway is obviously Fontana looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The team looks pretty ready. The young guys impressed. They look the part, which I was impressed with. Last year going into the season, the question marks I had were, is Brendan Aronson going to be able to be the full-time guy? And the fact that he was, kind of allowed for that the success. So similarly this year, is Fontana, can he play it? When we're going to see if he can, we're going to go as Fontana goes. So far so good. The rest of the young guys look pretty good. Ariel looks I kind of expected him to be good, and he looks like he is. The new guys, they didn't stand out. They didn't do anything one way or the other. They were only in at the end, maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, something like that. It looked like a rainy, soggy mess, and I was glad I was watching it on TV rather than being there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have watched the game. I mean, just saw the 2 goals that Anthony Fontana scored. Everybody said that Danny Higginbooth sounded great in the booth with Dave Leno. So, that is going to be the one bad thing just with me living in Maryland. Whenever the Union play away, I'm always getting that home team's broadcast instead of the Union. So a little bit bummed I'm not going to hear Danny this year because I do not plan on missing any home games this year. Hopefully I don't. But, at the same time, too, it sounds like we got really good guys in the booth. I know I've heard Dave Leonard sometimes, really great voice. JP is a legend, and I've seen Danny a couple times on NBC Sports, and now he's with the Union. Everybody said nothing but great things for him in his first game with the Union, so that's what you'd love to see.
That was accurate. He's very professional and understands the game and understands the, when to be talking and when not to be talking, and it's a skill that not everybody has, and he actually, we had some good guys early on. We had Taylor when he was starting out. We had Marino; he was really good. And then we had a bunch of years where it was a different situation. Now we probably have I can't imagine there's a better broadcast crew in the league than the 2 have.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say though, I've definitely been fortunate to have Jordan Angeli for Columbus Crew. Love her work, and especially seeing her call some of these U23 Olympic qualifying games. Jordan does excellent work. Brad Feldman for New England does great work too. Even having Chris Doran, who's the play-by-play for Columbus Crew. So it is cool, trying to get different play-by-play guys on the podcast and just get their insight, because these guys are right there calling the live action as it's happening, and have very, very high respect for those guys that are calling the game, because sometimes it's like, you just want to watch the game, but their job is they got to call it as they see it. And so I have nothing but the highest respect for those guys that are in that profession. But let's go ahead and get into 5 and 25. So 5 and 25, if you guys are new to this, is where I ask the contestants 5 questions. They have 25 seconds to answer the questions. The clock starts after I read the first question. If a contestant doesn't know the answer, they can say skip. And we can go back to the question if time permits. Each question will be worth 2 points each. And so I went back and I looked and I saw, okay, well, in your final matchup, who went first, Rich or Michael? It was Mike who went first, so we're going to go with you first this time, Rich.
Sure.
Clock will start after I read the first question to you. And remember, guys, I don't think I actually told you guys this. I told you guys before the show started, so I said last episode, but your category is going to be the 2020 Philadelphia Union season, nothing but Philadelphia Union 2020. And that means that your first question, Rich, is who made their debut against the Montreal Impact?
Turner.
How many Union players made Team of the Year?
4.
Who led the Union in assist?
Aronson.
Who led the Union in game-winning goals? Who scored the game-winning goal to win the Supporters' Shield?
Burke.
What's the most goals the Union conceded?
2.
And right at the buzzer.
3. Shoot, 3 against LA.
Yep, there you go. So Rich knew the answer. Yeah. He knew that buzzer was coming, and it's kind of my fault. I messed up a second to the last question, but he still had time. So well done, Rich, for still going along with it. But yep, what was the most goals the Union conceded? Yeah. It was 3 against LAFC. You were correct. Who scored the game-winning goal to win the Supporters' Shield? And the question I messed up on. It was Sergio Santos. Corey Burke did score in that game. It was the second goal in that game. Who led the Union in assists? It would indeed be Brendan Aronson with 7 on the year. Who led the Union in assists? I just asked that, sorry. How many Union players made Team of the Year? That would be 3 players, Andre Blake, Mark McKenzie, and Brendan Aronson. And who made their debut against the Montreal Impact? That would be Cole Turner. So, Rich, you went 2 for 5 there, gave you 4 points, so not bad. Like you said, you knew it wasn't 2, and then you're like 3, and then the buzzer. So you almost had it, but not bad. You got it on the scoreboard. And look, you listened to the last episode. I said, okay, I gave you guys a hint that I was going to talk about Cole Turner, and that was the first question I asked you. So well done, Rich, for either listening, remembering I was going to ask you that.
Honestly, I wish I could take credit for my listening comprehension, but that was just flat out guess.
Or maybe it's just because you guys all know how much I love Cole Turner being from the same county in Maryland that I'm from. So you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be Cole Turner's. But like I said, 4 points out of 10. Not bad, Rich. And Michael, we're going to go to you, sir. So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Your first question is, who led the Union in goals?
The Friendly Ghost.
Who led the Union in minutes played?
Blake.
Who scored the first goal against LAFC?
Sergio.
Who led the Union in yellow cards?
Montero.
And who has what was the most goals scored in a game for the Union?
5.
Oh, right at the buzzer. So, well done. You know what team that was against, Mike?
I don't. I can't remember. I just remember 5.
It was against Toronto. So, yeah, you got it. I didn't ask you. So maybe I should ask the team, but you're right. It was 5. Who led the Union in yellow cards on the season? That would be Ali Bedoya. He had 9. And, when I was looking at that, I was like, everybody was complaining on Twitter about Jose Martinez getting yellow cards, Jose Martinez fouling and everything, but it seems like we should have been concerned about Ali Bedoya because not only did Ali Bedoya have 9, Jose Martinez wasn't even close to that. So, yeah, a little bit surprised that it was Ali Bedoya, just seeing how much everybody can complain about Jose. Number 3, I asked, who scored the first goal against LAFC? That would be Sergio Santos. Who led the Union in minutes played? That would be Mark McKenzie. He played 1,980 minutes. And who led the Union in goals? You had 2 choices there, which were Sergio Santos and Kasper Schmeichel, or you said the Friendly Ghost. I will definitely take that. And they both had 8 on the season, so not bad at all. You had 6 points out of 10. You went 3 for 5. Not bad at all, Mike. And it's a close game either way. So we're going to go ahead straight into truth/false. And this category is really self-explanatory. If you guys are new, again, like I've been saying, it's truth/false. So I asked these guys 5 questions each. Each question will be worth 1 point, and they are not timed, but don't try to take forever. So, Michael, we're going to stick with you, and your first question is going to be true or false. The Union went undefeated at home.
False.
That was actually true. They went undefeated at Subaru Park last season. Number 2, true or false. The Union used 3 different captains in 2020.
I'm going to hate this one. I'm going to say false.
It is true. They used 3. Andre Blake, Bedoya, and Brendan Aronson apparently captained the Union the last game of the season against New England.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The website that I was using said he captained him. I went back at the Union's lineup. Didn't have anybody listed as captain for that game, so, we're going to go with it. Question number 3, true or false. The Union went the whole season without a red card.
Oh, jeez. I can't be. No, because that. False.
That is also true. The Union had no red cards last season. Question number 4, true or false. The Union led MLS in goals.
I can't say. It's probably true, but I'm going to say false.
You're right. Good job. You went with false. It is false. Portland led MLS in goals with 46, while the Union had 44. So the Union right there. And question number 5, true or false. The Union went 2 for 3 on their penalty kicks.
I know they missed 1. I'm going to say true.
That would be false. So you're right. They did miss 1, but that was during MLS's back, which didn't count during the regular season because that was in the semifinals against Portland. Sergio Santos missed that, but Jamiro and Kasper both made their penalty kicks during the regular season. So Mike, you got 1 point there to put your tally to 7. So you went 1 for 5 and extend your lead by 3. But Rich, we're gonna go ahead to you, and now it's time to try to cut this lead in half.
All right.
There you go. Question number 1, true or false? The longest winning streak the Union had was a 3-game one.
Winning streak? That's true.
It is true. They did it 2 times. It started with New York Red Bulls, New England, and Montreal. Then they did it against New England, Toronto, and Chicago. Question number 2, true or false? Aronson and Fontana combined scored more goals than Kasper.
Well, that's interesting. Kasper had 8. Fontana had about 6. Did Aronson have more than 2? I think that's false. I think it's tied if you had those 2.
It's actually true. Brendan Aronson had 4. Fontana, you're right, had 6, and Casper had 8. So these two combined had 10 goals. And Brendan had a lot more assists than he did goals, but scored 4 goals last season. Question number 3, though. True or false? Ali Bedoya led all of MLS in yellow cards.
Wow. It's a pretty good number he had. True.
Yeah, it is true. And I almost gave this question away when I was explaining how many yellow cards he had. So I tried to steer away from that. But yeah, he did leave all of MLS with 9, which is crazy. Again, I mean, just everybody was complaining about Jose Martinez. Everybody would have thought, oh yeah, Jose Martinez, with how much he was getting crucified on Twitter, would have more than Ali.
He really reined it in. And like early in the season, it was like, oh man, this guy's going to be missing games all the time for this. And he really reined. You remember there was like banter between him and Jim about yellow cards.
Yeah,
and he really did. He really tightened that up. And
fair play to him, right? Yeah, especially, I mean, with a player like him that's aggressive, it's kind of hard to tell somebody that it's the natural instinct to be aggressive to, hey, you got to tone it down. And you're right, he did turn it down. And Ali Bedoya is like, okay, well, I'll continue to make these hard tackles and get 9 yellow cards out of it. But question number 4.
He does a lot of those tactical fouls, the veteran.
He does, exactly.
Yeah,
and it was surprising, too, when I was looking at that. The person who led the Union in the most fouls was Jamiro Montero, and he had, I think, 6 or 5 yellow cards on the season. And Bedoya, like you said, just all of his fouls, it seems like, are tactical. So when he's doing those fouls, he's going to get a yellow card. And yeah, that's what happened. But let's go ahead to question number 4 for you, Rich. True or false? In 23 matches played, the Union scored the first goal in 18 of them.
Oh my goodness, Todd.
I know.
Look at that smirk. Look at that smirk on your face. I'm going to say true.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Okay.
It's such a random question, right? It's like, why'd you come up with 18? So I'm just going to go with true, and yeah, it is. It's a lot of times that the Union scored first, and you knew if the Union were scoring first, they were going to win the game. They had 14 wins on the season, so only 4 games that they
scored a lot of goals, so chances are they scored first most so often. So.
Exactly, scoring 44 goals exactly in 23 games. But your last question, Rich, true or false? The most homegrowns on the field at one time for the Union was 4.
Kenzie, Brendan Aronson, Fontana. I could see 4, but I could also see how 5 could sneak in there at the end of a game or something. Shoot. I'm going to say false. I bet it was 5.
Yeah, you're right. It was 5. It was indeed 5. And I had to go ahead and double check this because I thought it was 6 at one time. The 5 were Cole Turner, Anthony Fontana, DeVries, 1 for Brendan Aronson, Mark McKenzie, and Matt Rial. And I thought Aronson was on, but I forgot that Jack DeVries came on and subbed off Aronson, and that happened against Montreal Impact, which the Union won that game 4-1. So, Rich, well done, because you went 4 for 5 in that category, gave you 4 points, and now you take a 1-point lead over Michael, 8 points to 7. But before we get into the final category, let's talk about this upcoming game against Saprissa. This Monday, though, joining me to preview that game is Eddie Mendez. Shout out to Mike Thomas for saying, hey, look, this guy knows his stuff about Saprissa, about Costa Rican soccer. Hit him up. He'll be a great guest for your show. And yeah, Eddie and me have this lined up. Episode's coming out on Monday. And Jonathan Tannenwald also gave him a ringing endorsement. So if you have somebody like Jonathan that's singing his praises, it's going to be a good episode, I feel like. But just, guys, you guys ready for this game against Saprissa? What are your thoughts going into it?
I'm glad there's not going to be a crowd there. That makes a world of difference. I mean, traveling's going to be a lot. I mean, I think we got some young guys, but if you really think about our roster, it's a lot of the same guys as last year. They've been through some battles. I think they have as good a chance as you could have going into Costa Rica like that. As good a chance as possible. So I think it's not out of the realm of possibility to steal a win there. I don't expect that necessarily, but I think it's possible, and that's good.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, I completely agree with Rich. From what I've seen on Union Twitter and talking to a few Union fans I know, it doesn't seem like we're falling into the trap that I know that some other people would be, which is like, well, it's Costa Rica. It's not a Mexican club. We should be able to be. Saprissa is a very good club. and and no one seems to be taking them lightly at all, which is great, and especially because of all the injuries we have. So I agree with Rich. I don't think we're going to go in there and win. I think best case scenario is a draw. And it really is going to be, I guess, a big kind of test for a lot of the younger guys who are going to have to really step up, especially Fontana, with what he's been doing in the friendlies and what he's kind of piggybacking off of last year. It's kind of his moment to kind of prove it even more. So, if it's a tie, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking at Saprissa's last 6 games, they're winless in the last 6 games, which it seems like, they're in a fluke right now, and that could be great for the Union. But at the same time, too, you look at basically every single striker is missing for the Union. And the reason I brought up earlier the DC United game, I thought Kasper Schebelker was supposed to play in that game, and I don't think he made an appearance at all during the game, which is definitely concerning because Jim said that he got an injection in his back to speed things up. Corey Burke, we already know, is not going to be fit enough to play. He hasn't even trained at all this season yet. Sergio Santos, Jim already said, hopefully against Saprissa in the second leg. Jack DeVries in concussion protocol. We have no strikers, and so I was talking to you guys before we started. I was like, did Mbaizo start for Cameroon during the international break for them? And the answer is no. And so I was trying to think of the lineup. I think the Union are gonna go with a 4-4-2, even though they don't have a striker. I guess they could change that up and go with a false 9 with Anthony Fontana. And I might change. I might come up with a totally different lineup for Monday's episode with Eddie. But Andre Blake's obviously in goal. Left back's going to be Kai Wagner. The 2 center backs are going to be Jacob Glesnes and Elliott. And for the right back, it was either going to be Harriel or Mbaizo. Reading some people's comments on Twitter against DC United, it seemed like Harriel had a little bit of a tough game against DC United. So I think Mbaizo is going to get the start, especially because he's played more first-team minutes than Harriel has. As the number 8, El Brujo, love to see him healthy and everything. Got the start against DC United. Ali Bedoya, obviously, on the right. I think we'll see. This is where it's tough because Jim in his midweek press conference is talking a lot about Jameer Montero as a number 10. Maybe Jack McGlynn on the outside left. I know some people want to say maybe Leon Flack, but he's not ready yet. He literally just got here on Saturday. As the number 10, I think it's going to be probably Jameer Montero, just because how much Jim Curtin has been talking about him playing the number 10 role in his midweek press conference. Then the 2 strikers, I think it's probably going to be Quinn Sullivan and Anthony Fontana. We saw Quinn get the start against DC United. I know Jim's been putting him up top the last couple of preseason games. So that's my thoughts on the lineup. But I guess, anything can change. Maybe Casper's back's good and maybe he gets to start. But yeah, I don't think so. And just seeing how we have so many injuries, I mean, as long as we don't get blown out 3-4-0, I'll be happy if we lose 1-0, 2-0, honestly 2-1, as long as we're not getting blown up 3-4, because if it is, there's no way we're scoring 4 or 5 goals at Subaru Park to go to the next round, in my opinion.
I think that's a pretty accurate thing, and what you were going through, I completely agree with, without really dissecting it too much, but I think that's pretty spot on. But it's really interesting that it could be 2 guys making their Union and MLS debuts, 2 young guys, and it's in a Champions League game. So that's really a lot of pressure in an away game, no less. So, I mean, they're put upon it. It's really all you can do. So, but it is really going to be a tough one.
The pressure is really on our defense and on El Brujo to just keep the score low. If we can get out of there 1-0, 0-0, great.
Yeah, nobody get a red card. Nobody come away injured. We've had too many injuries, so people come away healthy and give us a fighting chance at Subaru Park. We'll be happy.
I guess we all just had different expectations for how we would approach Champions League, but
yeah,
we got what we got. We got what we got. We scored so many. That's the thing. Like, we scored so many goals last year, and we lost with basically the same striker crew. So the system is what's producing the goals. And obviously a creative number 10, which we'll see what happens there. So it's not like we can't. I've seen a lot of people say, like, where are we going to get the goals from? well, where did we get them last year? You know, we
Yeah.
got them all over the place. Our leading goal scorer had 8 goals last year, and we still were second in the league in goals. So it's really by committee, and I guess it's going to be the same way. You know, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But speaking of hopefully, let's see if Rich can hopefully hold on to his league. I'm sure he's thinking because he has 8 points. Mike has 7. So let's get ahead into that final category, which is Name the Union Player. So in the final category, contestants will go head-to-head against each other in guessing the Union player I'm describing. I'll give 5 clues, and contestants can buzz in whenever they think they know the player. Contestants will buzz in by saying their own name. If a contestant answers wrong, that will freeze them out until the next question. Each question will be worth 3 points each, except for clue 5, which is when I give you guys the player's first name. That will just give you 1 point. Remember, guys, that the player I'm describing played for the Union in 2020, but what I described might not have happened in 2020. So you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead to player number 1. Hint number 1. Hint number 1 is number 13 on the Union's all-time scorers list. Hint number 2 made his debut in 2019 against Toronto FC. Hint number 3, scored the 4th hat-trick in team history. Hint number 4, jersey number 17.
Rich.
Go ahead, Rich.
Is that Santos?
It is indeed Sergio Santos, and hint number 5 was first name Sergio. Sergio Santos is that player. That gives you 3 huge points right there, Rich. But still plenty of time, Mike, for you to get back into this game. So let's go ahead to player number 2. And I have no clue why I have the notes right in front of me, and I don't know why I'm not following the script and just going off and saying whatever I feel like it. But it doesn't matter, you know. You picked up the points, and
you have dreams of Toddcast T-shirts in your mind. And
you probably
with you the whole episode.
probably. I mean, that's hard to turn down, right? So, be on the lookout for that. But player number 2, hint number 1, is joined the Bethlehem Steel in 2017. Hint number 2 was tied for the leading goals in 2018 with 10. Hint number 3.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Corey Burke.
It is indeed Corey Burke. Hint number 3 has played in the Austrian Bundesliga. Hint number 4 has played for the Jamaican national team. And hint number 5 is first name Corey. Corey Burke is the player. Huge points right there for you, Mike. Rich still with a 1-point lead. But let's go ahead to player number 3, hint number 1. Signed for the Union in 2017. Hint number 2, played 1 season with Fulham's youth team.
Rich.
Good, Rich.
That's Jack Elliott.
Yeah, it is indeed Jack Elliott right there, and it's big right there. I wasn't sure if you guys would get that, but well done, Rich, to know that. The other hints for that were hint number 3, scored the 2nd goal against New York Pink Cows in the playoffs. Hint number 4, played college soccer at West Virginia University. First name Jack Elliott is the player. Let's go ahead to player number 4. Hint number 1 is from South America. Hint number 2, recently signed a new contract with the Union.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
El Brujo.
Yeah, it is indeed Jose Martinez or El Brujo. The other hints for that were hint number 3, joined from Zulia FC. Hint number 4, nickname the Wizard. And first name Jose Martinez. And like it has throughout this whole competition's history, it always comes down to this last player. Anybody's ball game. Remember, Rich still has a 1-point lead, so do with that what you will, Mike. Let's go ahead with player number 5. Hint number 1 is had a trial with Liverpool Football Club. Hint number 2 shares the same agent as Martin Odegaard of Arsenal. Hint number 3 scored 1 goal for the Union last season. Think this one might do it. Hint number 4, jersey number 5. Oh, here we go for 1 point. First name, Jacob.
Mike.
Rich.
Oh, it was just Mike. So go ahead, Mike.
Oh.
It's Glesnes, and I wanted to say that earlier. Damn it.
What hint did you want that at, Mike?
I wanted it at scored 1 goal.
Scored 1 goal, yeah.
Memorable one. Yeah, memorable one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So well done, Mike, because you just tied this game up. So let's go ahead to the final player. And for the final player, guys, this is going to be a player that did not play for the Union in 2020. Hopefully that helps you guys out because if you guys have been paying attention for the quarterfinals, I went over every single player that played for the Union in 2020, and we have went over every single player in 2020. So there is no more players to guess because I've already given them all. So I'm just going to give you a random player in Union history, and we're going to go ahead with hint number 1. So you guys ready?
Yeah,
Sure.
wow. The whole Union history. That's exciting. All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here we go. Hint number 1 is a midfielder. Hint number 2, scored against Toronto in 2011. Hint number 3, scored 2 goals against Peru in the 2005 U17 World Cup. Hint number 4, traded to LA Galaxy in 2012.
Rich.
Mike.
Go ahead, Rich.
Shoot. Is that? I think I messed up. Is that Map by
It
chance?
is not Map. Mike,
Shoot.
go ahead.
Can I wait now?
You already buzzed in, so
Oh no.
I've got other players. So if you don't get it, don't worry. We'll go for other players.
I'm going to regret that. It isn't McInerney, is it?
It is not. So here we go. I'll give you hint number 5, even though there is no need for it. But first name Kyle.
Oh, crap. Nakazawa, yeah.
Yeah, it is indeed Kyle Nakazawa. So let's go ahead to player number 7 right here. This is a first. Like, I thought this would never happen, but we're here. So let's go ahead again, do just another random player from Union's history. Maybe this one will be a little bit easier, but hint number 1 is a defender. Hint number 2 was the 44th pick in the 14 Super Draft. Hint number 3, jersey number 16. Hint number 4, scored a goal against Bournemouth.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Richie Marquez.
Yeah, it is indeed Richie
Yes,
Marquez.
very nice.
So, you guys took 7 players deep, and it is indeed Richie Marquez. So, scored that goal against Bournemouth in a friendly in 2015. Hint number 5, first name Richie Marquez, and
I'll let myself, man. When you said traded to LA, the first name that popped in my head was Kyle Nakazawa. I swear to God. But I was thinking, I don't recall him having any kind of like U17. I didn't recall him having a background like that.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll let you guys a little bit of a secret right here. So these players I was giving you, these were the exact players I gave you guys for the final between you two. So I was like, let's.
Oh my gosh!
You know what's funny? When he said Marquez, that memory came back to me. Like, damn, I think I got screwed by Marquez twice.
You might have. So we'll have to go back and listen to that episode. But well done,
funny.
Mike. You talk about the pressure on you, and you came back and. Rich did not make it easy to you, but congratulations, Michael, for moving on to the semifinals, and you still get to defend your title. But Rich, hell of a game.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be pulling for you, Mike, for sure. That was a good match. Yeah, that's down to the wire, right?
Yeah, good game, Rich. That was really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to go 7 players, and both of you guys went with totally different players for the first player I gave you guys, and.
I'm going to have to live with regret. I'm thinking back of a couple of questions that I wish I would have had back. They would have made all the difference, but I'll have to just make up for it next year, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But not bad at all because, just put up a great fight. I'm sure, like I said earlier, it sucks that you guys had to face each other in the quarterfinals because you guys won the final last year. But, it is the luck of the draw. And speaking of luck of the draw, so I'm going to do a live drawing like I did last time for these guys to see who is playing who. So let me go ahead and share my screen so people don't think that I'm FIFA match fixing. Man, how do I share my screen? I knew how to do it before, but here we go. Yeah, I see. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you. Let's go ahead, open this up so these guys see that nothing fishy is going on. So I'll put in Michael's name right here. Mike Thomas, Luke, and Ricky are all the guys that are in the semifinals. Let's go ahead and randomize this. Hit randomize, and here we go. We're going to find out who's playing who.
Yeah, there's going to be no easy matchups there.
So, not easy at all for Ricky because he goes against Michael, the champion, and that means Luke and Mike are facing each other in the other game. And yeah, either way you slice this was not going to be an easy game. So, Michael and Ricky in the first game, and Luke and Mike. And what is with you, Michael, drawing people that have an R in their name?
I don't know. it's not, it's people drawing an arm, people who are just really good. I don't think that there's been a single bad person in this tournament. It's been really astonishing.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a great tournament, and yeah, definitely struggling coming up with questions. I mean, only if somebody would come up with their own app that I can trust their information. But yeah, it's hard, doing research and finding, okay, is this true? Is this false? Did somebody come up with this? But, we're finding a way. So, hopefully a season 3 can happen. So, you can get redemption, Rich. But I'm definitely open to suggestions. So if people say, hey, look, this is what you should do for season 3. These are the kind of questions you should ask. Hey, hit me up. I'm all down for everything.
You have to consider something. People, you could ask, you asked us 2 of the same questions you asked us last year, and we both were like struggling with both of them.
Yeah.
So you could just mine some old material, and people aren't going to, it's hard to remember who led the team in assists in 2014. Like, who the heck knows that? Randomly.
Yeah. This is very true.
The 13th all-time
goal scorer.
Yeah, I thought Sergio was higher up on that list, but apparently not. But I don't know. If he can stay healthy this year, score a couple goals, he's going to need more than a couple. But he can definitely make his case up there, because when he's healthy, I think he's one of the best strikers the Union have. But before I let you guys go, where can people find you on social media? We'll go with you first, Mike.
I'm on MVS Union for Twitter. Follow guys like Rich. I think most of, or at least more than half of the guys that have been on here, and yourself, Todd, a follow and everything. And I'll also give a shout out to my buddy Harry with Greatham Consulting. If anybody's looking for a financial consulting, just so he can owe me a beer in the future.
Nice work.
And Rich?
Just on Twitter, at Rich_Laurie.
You got to follow Rich. You got to follow Michael too. So
looking forward to starting to. I'm looking forward to really having actually soccer to talk about on Twitter rather than
absolutely.
I always say that, like, Union Twitter really doesn't do well with inactivity. Like, there's always something going on. But when we all have the games to talk about, everything, we all get along just so well.
Absolutely. When things are going good, I should say. But
well, yes, good point, Todd. Yes,
it is. But if you guys aren't following the podcast on social media, follow at Free Kick Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out the website, thefreekickpodcast.com. Wherever you get your podcast, The Free Kick, Todd Lewis. And don't forget the 2021 Philadelphia Union away jersey giveaway. 3 ways of entry: leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, search The Free Kick, Todd Lewis. Show a screenshot of review that gives you 2 entries. Tag a friend on the post, 1 entry, and retweet this tweet that gets you 1 entry. The giveaway goes until April 17th, so still a lot of time left to get yourself a 2021 Philadelphia Union away jersey. But like you guys just heard, it is going to be Michael Van Zant versus Ricky, and Luke McLung of the Doopy Brothers podcast taking on Mike Thomas. Going to be a great semifinals, and can't wait to see what craziness comes of it. But until then, my name is Todd, and this is the Free Kick Podcast.